Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to Season 5, Episode 34 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting. The best bets you should be taking in everything surrounding sports. This week, it's just Huff and I, but we got the NHL playoffs in full steam, NBA playoffs in full steam. We're looking forward to the Eastern and Western Conference finals, respectively, in both those leagues. NFL schedule release here is this Thursday, so a little bit of chatter on that, but a pretty stout episode here for us this week. Again, just Huff and I. Huff, why don't you introduce yourself here this week? What do you got for us?
Yeah, solid week in the sports world. Obviously, I said that last week, but I love the NHL and NBA playoffs. Always a great time when we got sports rolling every night, especially meaningful games. But yeah, we're watching right now. I got Detroit Cavaliers. What is this, game 5 on? Detroit's pulling away here. Looking like the trend of the Cavs being 0-5, looking like 0-6 at home in the playoffs. But we got the PGA Championship this week as well, second major of the year coming up. We can touch on that, a couple picks. I haven't taken anything official yet, but PGA Championship being played over there in Philadelphia this weekend, Thursday to Sunday. But yeah, great week in the sports world. We got a major, we got playoff hockey, playoff basketball. I'm gonna see our Steelers schedule here tomorrow or today when you're listening to this on Thursday. But other than that, yeah, good to go.
Heck yeah, lots to look forward to. Like you said, a great time in the sports world. Let's jump into the NHL here and start off with our Carolina Hurricanes here. They breezed through the Philadelphia Flyers, taking care of them in just 4 games. What are your thoughts on that series, Huff? And do you think Carolina is going to be okay after sitting since Saturday, May 9th? Their series starting for almost probably another week,
Yeah, rest
or
first
five
for us
days.
is obviously the age-old question here. Carolina, they showed it, going into that Philly series, they had a little bit quicker of a turnaround, not as much, or not as long as they're sitting looking like going into this one. But it's going to be tough. I'm never a huge fan of the week of rest. Carolina hasn't lost a playoff game yet these playoffs, so I guess they have it handled the way they want to. They're playing well. They haven't looked slow in some of these first games, but Carolina, they're going to get the winner at Canadiens and Sabres. We'll get into that. We got game 5 with that tomorrow night, but um, it's hard to say. I think Carolina is on a path to, obviously they're in the Eastern Conference Finals right now, awaiting their opponent, but I think this is the year that Carolina finally gets the job done and gets to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, can't argue with that. Flyers definitely did not look their best there, but I hope that the Hurricanes can keep their momentum going here through
Yeah,
this
I
Eastern
think this
Conference
will
final.
be a situation where, I mean, you could see them look quote unquote slow for them. I think their version of slow is a lot different than other teams. The way they play is not the most exciting, but they're going to get that game 1 in Carolina, well rested. Games 1 and 2, like I said, will be at home. But actually, I think is Buffalo the 1-1 seed or is Carolina?
Carolina is.
Carolina is. So they're good. They get home ice no matter who they play. But I just want to make sure on that. But yeah, I think you could see a situation where Montreal or Buffalo jump out on them maybe in game 1 and could steal a game. But I just think Carolina is the better team no matter who they're going to get. I think these two teams are going to beat the hell out of each other. Now we get a best of 3 series with that series being tied 2-2. We'll get into that. But I don't see either of them taking down Carolina, honestly.
Yeah, that's our next series here. Sabres and Canadiens here. They're in a classic back and forth series here. Looks to be anybody's series. Tied at 2 apiece heading into game 5 on Thursday. What do you think happens in this one, Huff?
This is tough. I originally said the Canadiens in 7. After seeing game 1, I think I jumped to the Sabres. I'd like to go back to my original pick. The Canadiens do look like the better team. The games that they've won, they've looked very dominant. Obviously, Buffalo with a huge game 4 win to get this thing back to Buffalo at 2-2, make it a best of 3 series. But I'm going to go back to the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if you want to take that for what it's worth, but flipped now on this series. This will be the second time going back, but I'm going to take Montreal. I think they end up getting this done. I could see them steal this game 5. They're plus 102 on the money line, plus 100 depending where you get it. I could see them steal this game 5 tomorrow night and end this in 6 in Montreal. If it goes 7, I do favor the Sabres, excuse me.
Yeah, that's an interesting series. Like I said, back and forth. Could be anybody's series. I mean, you have been all over this series. I mean, you said Canadiens in 7, then jumped over to Sabres, back over to Canadiens here. I think it's the Canadiens.
It's so hard to say because I didn't trust this Sabres team. I didn't think they were gonna get out of the series. Then the way they look to start, obviously that both of these teams' home ice is just insane advantage. The Sabres fans obviously have been electric all playoffs, and then we all know the Bell Center is probably one of the best environments for playoff hockey. So these games have been must-watch TV just for the crowd environment you're getting in them. I'm going to go with Montreal. I think they're the better team.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a
But
good series either way.
tougher, more playoff-built team. For this series, I think it's going to be hard for them to go out in 7.
Yeah, can't argue with that. I think it's going to go to 7 either way.
I definitely could see that. I could see Buffalo. If Buffalo wins Game 5, you got to think. I almost said Toronto. Montreal would win Game 6. Home teams could just win out. We've seen each of these teams steal one in games 1. Or Montreal got one in Game 2. Sabres bounce back on the road and get one in Game 4 after being down 2-1. So, despite the home ice being a pretty intimidating factor for the away team, away teams are they have 2 wins in this series, 1 for each team. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, Game 5 tomorrow night in Buffalo.
Alrighty, moving forward here. Western Conference, the Colorado Avalanche gave it to the Wild in the first 2 games, but Wild bouncing back in Game 3. Avs taking Game 4. Game 5 happening, I believe, right now or in about an hour. What do you think, Huff? Do the Avs close it out tonight?
I thought they did, down 3-0 right now in the first period is crazy.
No way.
Or at the end of the first period, 3-0. It was 3-0. They got a goal called back. It's now 3-0 again. The Wild are looking like they're going to get this one back to Minnesota. Obviously, it's 3-1. Avalanche have the chance. It's not over. This team can score at will. So I'm not going to call this thing over, but the Minnesota Wild are a very good hockey team. I'm going to give them this win. Probably, you got to assume 3-0. I know it's the end of the first, but I'm going to say Minnesota wins this one. Can they get it, back to Colorado for a Game 7? That's going to be very interesting. My original pick for this series was the Avalanche in 5 to win this game. I did think they would win this one tonight on home ice. I didn't think they'd let this one slip away, but after a tough start in the first period, Minnesota jumped on them from the start. I think they're dominating in the shot department, but I'm going to go with the Avalanche. I still think they win this series. I think they're the best team in the NHL. I think we're set up for an Avs-Hurricanes final. I know it's chalk, but I think they're the 2 best teams in hockey, and I think that's what we deserve at this point to get the best team out of the West, the best team out of the East, see a true best-on-best Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I can't not see the Avs advancing here. This Wild team does look good, though. I mean, up 3-0 here tonight. They won that last game, 5-1, or 2 games ago, 5-1. In Game 3, excuse me.
Yeah.
Man, this Avs team just doesn't look the same these last 3. I mean, Game 4 they looked fine, but
this is a telling game on home ice. This is big. They're gonna. I guess you could say Game 7 would be in Colorado. It wouldn't be like a quote unquote must win game for the Avalanche, but you never want to go to Game 7 after being up 3-1, even if it is on your home ice.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting series there. Hoping the Avs can make it happen. Like you said, would love to see Avs and Hurricanes in the final, but we'll see. But last but not least here, Vegas leads Anaheim 3-2. Game 6 on Thursday. Classic back and forth here, trying to advance the Western Conference final. What do you think happens here, Huff?
Yeah, my pick on this series was Vegas in 6. It's looking like we're set up that we could still get that. Vegas with a huge overtime win last night in Game 5 in Vegas. This is moving back to Anaheim for Game 6. I do like Vegas to close this out here. They're -112, -115 on the money line. I think they close it out in Game 6 in Anaheim. I don't want to write off this Ducks team. Mackey's big on them. He's taken them a couple spots in this series. But I think Vegas is just a better, more experienced team. They had the home ice. They showed it in that Game 5, getting that huge win in overtime. I know they don't have the better. I don't know if they have the better goalie. They're definitely the better team. I'm going to go with Vegas. I think they close this out in Game 6. I think there's even some value on the -1.5. I always love taking. I don't take -1.5 a lot. My favorite time to take them is in a series clinching game when I think the favorite wins. The team that's down, their season's on the line. Anaheim could have their goalie pulled with 4 minutes left in this game. If it's 2-1, 3-2. You could see them pull the goalie with 3-ish minutes left to try to make some magic happen with their season on the line. And a team like Vegas is going to jump all over that. So give me Vegas to close this out in 6 in Anaheim.
Yeah, hard to say that Vegas isn't going to win this series. I think Game 6, they're going to be able to take care of it. So we'll see what happens here. That's tomorrow, when you're listening this Thursday. All right, let's shift over to the NBA here. We're so close to either Eastern Conference or Western Conference Finals in the NBA. Thunder took down the Lakers in 4. Knicks took down the 76ers in 4. Any thoughts on these sweeps here in this round of the NBA, Huff?
Yeah, obviously we have two teams set in the conference finals, like you said, with Oklahoma City, Mackey's Knicks both sweeping. I'm pulling up the playoff bracket here. We still have obviously the Wolves and Spurs, a great series, and like I said, Pistons Cavs going on right now in Game 5. But as far as these two sweeps, the Lakers, is it LeBron's final game? I really hope not. I think he's going to tool up that Lakers team this offseason, work with that front office, the GM as they say. And get that team back for one more run with a 42, 43-year-old LeBron James. I think they'll be back. But as far as this Thunder team, I don't want to discount them. They're just like the Carolina Hurricanes. They have not lost a playoff game yet these playoffs. You got to take that for what it's worth. They're going to run into a battle-tested Timberwolves or Spurs team, whoever comes out of this series. As far as Mackey's Knicks handling those 76ers, I originally thought that was going to be a long series, a rivalry series, 6-7 type games. The Knicks just dominated them all series. It was a 30-point blowout win in Game 4. The New York fans took over Philly in Games 3 and 4 at whatever their stadium is. But I still remember it as Wells Fargo Arena. I know it's not that anymore, but that's still what I remember it as.
Xfinity something.
Yeah, I think it is Xfinity Center or something like that. But Mackey's Knicks, they look great. You got to think this might be the year they get to the finals. They've been in this spot before. They're going to get, like I said, a Pistons or a Cavs team. I think Mackey wants to see these Cavs the way they're playing. He would get home court with that as well. But it's been a good series between Detroit and Cleveland. But props to the Thunder and Knicks handling their business, and they get the rest for probably another couple days or so, because I think that Timberwolves Spurs series is probably going to be over in 6. You got to think the Wolves will have a chance back home in Minnesota. Very easily could go 7. And then very same scenario over there in the East. The Pistons look like they're going to win a key Game 5 at home. Could the Cavaliers win Game 6 back in Cleveland? As I pointed out, they haven't won a game on the road these playoffs, but they also haven't lost at home. So with that being said, those trends are pointing to Detroit winning this series in 7. So could Mackey's Knicks get a 4-0 or a Knicks team that's been sitting for a week going up against a team that's just coming out of a 7-game series? We're going to have to see how that goes, because usually the team that wins a 7-game series comes out with a little bit of momentum. If it is Detroit, Game 1 and 2 will be in Detroit as well. So I think that's more one to keep your eye on. The Spurs, I think the Spurs are going to close out that series. I really want to see Thunder Spurs, and then I think we're going to get Knicks Pistons in the East.
I like it. Let's review some of those other series here real quick. Cavs and Pistons in Game 5 as we're recording here. Series tied 2-2. Who do we see getting out of this series? Like you said, the Pistons, right?
I do think it's the Pistons. They look good at home. Obviously, kind of like what I said, the Cleveland has not been good on the road. Donovan Mitchell had a huge game. I think it was Game 4. Didn't do much in the first half. Came out and resurrected that offense in the second half, getting a huge win. And I think it was Game 4 in Cleveland to even this series up at 2. But right now we're sitting at halftime. Cavs are down 8. They're not out of this game. If Harden, Mitchell, these guys get going, they have the roster. I've been a big fan of that core 4 they have over there in Cleveland. But this Pistons team, they're very good and very hard to play against. They like to play a physical style of basketball. I think they win this game. They were like, I think a 4.5-point favorite. I know Mackey was on Cleveland here for a lot of those trends. A lot of people on the Pistons tonight for the trend that I said now several times that Cleveland hasn't won a road playoff game these playoffs. But I think Pistons win this series in 7. I'm rooting for Cleveland. I don't think they're going to get it done. They look like the inferior team to me.
Definitely a good series there. Like I said, tied 2-2. We'll see who comes out on top here tonight in Game 5. Spurs have a 3-2 series lead on the Timberwolves heading into Game 6. That game on Friday. Spurs have a chance to end the series on the road. Do you think they play the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, Huff?
Yeah, I think they do, but I don't know if it's going to be. I do think the Timberwolves could force a Game 7. That extra day of rest could be big for Anthony Edwards, a guy who missed part of this series with an injury, or part of the last series with an injury, came back on a very quick turnaround from a bone bruise to come back for this series. And they stole game one in San Antonio. This one's back in Minnesota. Ant's going to be calling out all the Minnesota fans that come out and be rowdy for this one. Wemby, we saw him get a little shook up in game four there. Could we see it again? It's hard to say on something like that. He's been so dominant this series, and so have the Spurs. Would not be shocked to see them close this out in 6 as a 4.5-point favorite. But I'm going to say the Spurs in 7. I'm going to give my boy Anthony Edwards and those Timberwolves their flowers. Not many people are. These are probably my two favorite players in the NBA right now, with Wemby and Ant to watch. So this series has been must-see TV for me. So Friday night, I'll be locked into this one at 9:30. But a great series, but I'm going to give it to the Spurs. I think they're the better roster, top to bottom. Anthony Edwards, obviously the injuries to Dante DiVincenzo for the Wolves were huge. I'm going to go with the Spurs in 7. I think both of these series still alive are going to go 7, and then obviously the other two are sweeps. So we're going to see a lot of rest versus rust. Against a team that just won a huge Game 7 to go to the conference finals. If it's the Spurs case, they haven't been back there since the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili days. For the Pistons, God, it's probably been since 2004 when they won the finals for the last time they got back there, unless they got back a couple years after that. But I know it's been probably a solid 15 plus years for Detroit and maybe 10 plus for San Antonio. So getting either of them back to the finals, Detroit would have home court over the Knicks. The Spurs obviously would be going to OKC for games 1 and 2. But yeah, I think we're set for a great conference finals. Kind of like what I said with the NHL, how I want to get the best on best. I think the two best teams, Mackie, you're going to kill me for saying this, are the Thunder and the Spurs. I know the Knicks have beat the Spurs so many times, or several times this year. They've played them very well, but I'm very excited for this Western Conference Finals to see if the Spurs can get a young, inexperienced Spurs team can give the Thunder a good run. The defending champs, they haven't lost a game these playoffs. I'm going to go with the Spurs. Can they do it? I hope so. Obviously, like I said, I'm a Wemby guy, but I'm hoping we get a Spurs-Knicks final, and I think that's what we're shaping up for. Obviously, you can't write off this Thunder team, though. They're the best team in the NBA for a reason.
You mentioned it. Rest or rust is the question here, both in the NHL and the NBA. Some of these series not starting until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the earliest for some of those series. So we'll definitely keep an eye on those and see what these. If some of these games, the series goes 7, that'll be Monday, Tuesday next week.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at ESPN. It doesn't even tell me past Sunday, so it doesn't tell me when it would start. Yeah.
Of course.
It just jumps to Wednesday, June 3rd would be game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Interesting. Well, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on those and going over the series here next week. All right, let's jump over to the NFL here. The NFL schedule release is Thursday here today, May 14th, 8 p.m. Eastern. We know some different things like international games, but the big reveal is on Thursday. We know about some random, like Thanksgiving is Cowboys hosting the Eagles.
Shocker.
Thursday Night Football in week 2 is Buffalo Bills hosting the Detroit Lions. I think that's the debut of their stadium. Monday Night Football week 1, Denver Broncos hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Not sure the significance of that, but international games, I don't care about, most of these, you know what I mean? Brazil, London.
Them. There's so many. Isn't there a couple new ones this year?
Yeah, so Melbourne, Australia, the 49ers and the Rams week 1.
That's fucking crazy.
Thursday Night Football. Week 3, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Baltimore.
Week 3 is Rio?
What's that?
Week 3?
Yeah, week 3 is Rio with the Ravens and the Cowboys.
Okay.
That's on a Sunday. Week 4, Sunday, Colts, Commanders in London.
Colts, Commanders.
Week 5, Eagles, Jags, London.
Yeah, that's the Jags London game.
Week 6, Sunday, Texans, Jags, London.
Jags back-to-back in London. They do that every year.
It's ridiculous. Week 7, Sunday, Steelers, Saints, Paris.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this one because New Orleans was one of the away games I had my eye on, and it just got taken right away from me.
Yeah, we never win down there. I've heard people say that and things like that. I get it, but I don't know. I don't
Still
care.
That'd be such a fun town. There'd be so many fucking Steeler fans on Bourbon Street that week.
Right. All right. Week 9, Sunday, Bengals and Falcons in Madrid, Spain.
Bengals, Falcons.
Week 10, we have the Patriots and the Lions in Munich, Germany. And final one, week 11 on Sunday, the Vikings and the 49ers in Mexico City.
So they're getting around. How many different cities is that? London, 2 games.
Well, there's 3 different venues in London. That none of them are at the same venue. One's at Tottenham, one's at Wembley, and one's at Tottenham. Sorry, 2 of them are Tottenham.
So Wembley and 2 in Tottenham.
Yeah. So Australia, Rio, London, let's say second London, Paris, Madrid, Munich, Mexico City. That's 8. 8 different venues.
8 different venues, 7 different cities.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's a lot. So what's the stadium look like that we're playing at in France? Do you have any idea? Is it PSG Stadium?
Let me see.
I figured it was just Paris Saint-Germain Stadium, or however you say it. Because they can probably seat like 85,000 fucking people.
It seats 80. French national football. French national soccer.
That's
French
the
national
stadium?
team. It's called Stade de France. It doesn't look like there's any big teams that play there other than like the national teams.
I wonder if PSG has a big stadium or where it's at.
Parc des Princes. Only seats 48,000.
That's why they were like, yeah, we want an extra 40,000 seats or whatever. Just think about it. A soccer stadium, you push the sidelines in, like it makes it so much like putting a UFC ring on a basketball court.
Exactly. All right. Anything else on the NFL schedule release, Huff? I'm kind of excited to see where, everybody, I've heard it from like the Barstool guys and things like that. People are like, who cares? It's a schedule release. And I go, yeah, you understand who you're playing, but it's fun to see like the order of which the demise happens.
I like the schedule release.
I do too.
I like the social media videos the teams put out. Those are always good.
I agree.
I like seeing the order of how we're playing these teams. I don't totally agree with I've heard a lot of people say that too. Like, who fucking cares?
Right.
I mean, we try to go to an away game. That's the big one. You pay a lot cheaper for the tickets now than if you fucking wait till a week before the game.
Right.
So I'd say for 90% of NFL fans, most people care about the schedule release.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say 90. I'd say 65% care about the schedule release. That was a big cut. But then I was thinking of like people like my dad. My dad's like, I don't fucking care. I'd say most people our age care about that.
Yeah, I'd agree. And they're doing, I don't remember them doing like a broadcast. Supposedly they're doing a broadcast for it.
Anything they can put on fucking TV.
Yeah, so who knows?
Alrighty. As bad as that NHL draft lottery was on
You're right. All right, keep it moving here. Last thing on our list, the PGA Championship 2026 is just one day away. As golf's second major tees off on Thursday, May 14th at 6:45 a.m. from Aronik Golf Club in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. Scotty Scheffler is the defending PGA Championship winner after he prevailed by 5 strokes at Quail Hollow last year. Huff, what do you think about these? I can pull up the odds. You said you had some picks. What are your thoughts?
I haven't taken anything yet. It's not the fun one. I've said it before. I like Scotty to defend his title. Not many people are picking him going into this tournament. He's only plus like 380.
Plus 450. That's not too bad.
Plus 350. Yeah, that's a great price for him.
450.
You don't what is it?
450.
Oh, I'll take even better. I'll take it. But a lot of people saying Cam Young. Obviously, I love him. He's playing great golf this year. He's definitely a popular pick. Not going to go with Bryson. I told myself I'm not allowed to bet on Bryson for any more majors this year. He just falls apart and absolutely ruined me on the Masters, so I'm not going to be going with him in this. I think Scotty gets it done. A lot of people are saying this isn't the longest course. This is a second shot golf course. Who's one of the best iron players on tour? Scotty Scheffler. Who's the best player on tour? Scotty Scheffler. I think he gets it done. I think he gets another major, a second PGA. Obviously, we know he needs the U.S. Open for the career Grand Slam. Guys like Jordan Spieth, are looking for a PGA for the career Grand Slam. Don't love his odds this week, but I think Scotty gets it done. Cam Young, maybe Matt Fitzpatrick is a little value pick. He's been playing great golf. His brother it was in contention last week. Him and his brother won that tournament 2 weeks ago, so he's been hot, or 3 weeks ago now. I don't know when that was, with that duos tournament, but Those are probably my 3 picks, Scotty. I do like Cam Young just because he's been so hot. But my value pick is probably Matt Fitzpatrick. My true pick is Scotty Scheffler.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, Scotty at 450. That's not terrible. Not the worst we've seen, of course. Rory right there behind him at plus 900. Cam Young at plus 1200. John Rahm at plus 1400. Adberg at 18.
Rory battling a blister on his foot. I don't know if he's going to get it done.
I saw that. So funny.
Such a pussy.
Yeah. Xander behind him at 1800. Bryson at plus 2000. Matt Fitzpatrick at 2200 there. Definitely some good odds across the board here.
Fitzpatrick 22 to 1.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I saw Stu said he liked him too. What's that?
Cam Young's like 12.
1200. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like 3 tiers. The favorite, plus 1,000, a plus 2,000.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see what happens. We've got an electric weekend ahead here. PGA Championship. We got the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, MLB's in full swing as well. Huff, anything else to add before we get out of here?
No, I think that's going to do it. NBA, NHL playoffs. We've been starting to get some more picks out. Got to stay tuned for those. It's been tough sledding. These are very hard games to call. MLB, got to shout out them Pirates. They're getting worked by the Colorado Rockies right now, but they've been on fire lately.
I mean, they wasted all their runs last.
Yeah, I was going to say they scored all their runs the other day, but we're going to go with the Pirates will get the win on this series. Afternoon game tomorrow. They're going to keep things rolling. We got the Phillies coming to town this weekend. Other than that, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.